So let's study about fetus. So in fetus, hematopoiesis until 6 weeks of pregnancy, it occurs in yolk sac, and the hemoglobin is of Portland Gore 1 Gore 2 type. From 6 weeks onwards, it occurs in liver. Hemoglobin is HbF type, which is alpha 2 gamma 2. From 20 weeks onwards, it occurs in bone marrow, and the hemoglobin is HbA type. So the fetal hemoglobin, that is alpha 2 and gamma 2 chains, it has more oxygen affinity than the HbA, and the oxygen distribution curve lies left to the maternal curve, so that the fetus can derive blood from maternal HbA. The HbF has low 2,3 DPG and low carbonic anhydrase values. Characteristics: it is resistant to acid and alkali. At term, that is at the time of birth, HbF is 75 to 80% of total hemoglobin, which is 16 to 18 gram. Then at 6 months of birth, the HbF is reduced to 1%. So let's talk about fetal RBC. So cardiac output of fetus is 350 ml per kg per minute, and cardiac output of newborn is 500 ml per kg per minute. So two tests based on the characteristic of the HbF, that is it resistant to acid and alkali. So for there is test called Singer's alkali denaturation test or repeat test, which differentiate from vasa previa from placenta previa, and agent uses 1% KOH and NOH. The second test is Klehover-Betke test or acid elution test. In this is used to calculate the dose of anti-D required in Rh negative females. Reagent is citric acid buffer. So let's see the fetal circulation. So site of oxygenation, fetus lung doesn't work. Site of oxygenation is the placenta. So placenta is giving oxygenated blood to the umbilical vein, and it has 80% saturation, oxygen saturation. Umbilical vein has 80% oxygen saturation. Now umbilical vein sends bloods 10% to liver and maximum blood to ductus venosus. Then liver, along with the deoxygenated blood from lower limbs, and the deoxygenated blood of liver is sent to the inferior vena cava, and the oxygenated blood that the ductus venosus get, it also is sent to the inferior vena cava. Then inferior vena cava gives this blood to right atrium. The right atrium, what does is it gives the oxygenated blood to left atrium via the foramen ovale, and gives the deoxygenated blood to the right ventricle via tricuspid wall. Then right ventricle pushes it to the pulmonary artery gives to lungs, but at the lungs are not functional, maximum it goes to ductus arteriosus, which then leads to aorta. What happens to the oxygenated blood? The left atrium gives it to left ventricle, and left ventricle gives to aorta. Then from aorta, both the oxygen and deoxygen will mix, and they go to system circulation, and system circulation to umbilical artery, and then umbilical artery to placenta. So umbilical artery carries the deoxy blood, and the umbilical vein carries the oxygenated blood. Now important events in the development of fetus. So what you have to remember is meconium production started at 16 weeks. Urine production is started at 12 weeks. Fetal limb movement start at 7 weeks, but this is not quickening. Quickening is the perception of the movements the fetus felt by mother, and they occur by 16 weeks. So fetal cardiac activity is 5 weeks, 3 weeks after fertilization, that is day 21. Surfactant production, I forget. Then gonads. So after 7 weeks, testes are formed. Testes are formed earlier than ovaries, and external related are formed at 12 weeks, but are formed earlier in females. Then fetal lung maturity test. This is done in cases of preterm labor to know maturity of lungs, and this is done by sampling the amniotic fluid, and which is taken out by amniocentesis. So amniocentesis is done to be in the third trimester, not before. So most common test we do is the LS ratio test. It is less than sigmoidal test. If LS ratio is more than 2, mature; less than 2, not matured. Second test is phosphatidylglycerol in amniotic fluid. It is the best and most specific test in any case. If this phosphatidylglycerol is present in the amniotic fluid, looks matured; otherwise not. Then there is lamellar body count. So lamellar bodies are just packets of surfactant. So if they are present, then it's mature; otherwise not. Then other is shake test, bubble test, or Clement test. It is outdated test, but it is the only bedside test that was used to do. Now it is not that used. In this, we take amniotic fluid and mix it with alcohol in a test tube and shake it. If the bubbles form, then lungs are matured; otherwise not. Then other is Nile blue sulfate test. So what happens is that the fetal skin cells are also present in the amniotic fluid. So what happens is, so in this we assume that if phospholipid present in the skin cells, that means phospholipid also present in the lungs. In other words, lungs will be matured. So we take amniotic fluid by amniocentesis and we add Nile blue sulfate dye. So skin cells, if they have phospholipid, they will turn into orange. So it gives a sound like that it is Nile blue sulfate test. So they will turn blue, but not. The dye is blue, and if the cells contain phospholipid, they will turn to orange color. Then, if more than 50% cells turn orange in color, that means lungs are mature. So we are taking skin cells for example, but it is not a skin maturity test. It is for the maturation of lung maturity. We assume that if the skin cells have phospholipid, that means lungs also have phospholipid, that is surfactant. Then last is phosphatidylcholine test. If it is more than 5 nanogram, then lungs are matured.